Many anarchists spent a great part of their activities in the labor movement, especially in the Latin countries, where in later years the movement of Anarcho-Syndicalism was born. Its theoretical assumptions were based on the teachings of libertarian or anarchist socialism, while its form of organization was taken from the movement of revolutionary syndicalism, which in the years from 1895 to 1910 experienced a marked upswing, particularly in France, Italy, and Spain. Its ideas and methods, however, were not new. They had already found a deep resonance in the ranks of the First International, when the Great Association had reached the zenith of its intellectual development. This was plainly revealed in the debates at its Fourth Congress in Basel, 1869, concerning the importance of the economic organizations of the workers. In his report upon this question, which Eugene Hinz laid before the Congress in the name of the Belgian Federation, there was presented for the first time a wholly new point of view which had an unmistakable resemblance to certain ideas of Robert Owen and the English labor movement of the 1830s. In order to make a correct estimate of this, one must remember that at that time the various schools of state socialism attributed no, or at best, only little importance to the trade unions. The French Blanquists saw in these organizations merely a reform movement, with a socialist dictatorship as their immediate aim. Ferdinand Lassalle and his followers directed all their activities towards welding the workers into a political party, and were outspoken opponents of all trade union endeavors, in which they saw only a hindrance to the political evolution of the working class. Marx and his adherents of that period recognized, it is true, the necessity of trade unions for the achievement of certain betterments within the capitalist system, but they believed that their role would be exhausted with this, and that they would disappear along with capitalism, since the transition to socialism could be guided only by a proletarian dictatorship. In Basel, this idea underwent for the first time a thorough critical examination. The views expressed in the Belgian report presented by Hinz, which were shared by the delegates from Spain, the Swiss Jura, and the larger part of the French sections, were based on the premise that the present economic associations of the workers are not only a necessity within the present society, but were even more to be regarded as the social nucleus of a coming socialist economy, and it was, therefore, the duty of the International to educate the workers for this task. In accordance with this, the Congress adopted the following resolution. The Congress declares that all workers should strive to establish associations for resistance in their various trades. As soon as a trade union is formed, the unions in the same trade are to be notified so that the formation of national alliances in the industries may begin. These alliances shall be charged with the duty of collecting all material relating to their industry, of advising about measures to be executed in common, and of seeing that they are carried out, to the end that the present wage system may be replaced by the Federation of Free Producers. The Congress directs the General Council to provide for the alliance of the trade unions of all countries. In his argument for the resolution proposed by the committee, Hinz explained that by this dual form of organization of local workers' associations and general alliances for each industry on the one hand, and the political administration of labor councils on the other, the general representation of labor, regional, national and international, will be provided for. The councils of the trades and industrial organizations will take the place of the present government, and this representation of labor will do away, once and forever, with the governments of the past. This new idea grew out of the recognition that every new economic form of society must be accompanied by a new political form of the social organism, and could only attain practical expression in this. Its followers saw in the present national state only the political agent and defender of the possessing classes, and did, therefore, not strive for the conquest of power, but for the elimination of every system of power within society, in which they saw the requisite preliminary condition for all tyranny and exploitation. They understood that along with the monopoly of property, the monopoly of power must also disappear. proceeding from their recognition that the lordship of man over man had had its day, they sought to familiarize themselves with the administration of things. Or, as Bakunin, one of the great forerunners of modern anarcho-syndicalism, put it, since the organization of the international has as its goal not the setting up of new states or despots, but the radical elimination of every separate sovereignty, it must have an essentially different character from the organization of the state. To just the degree that the latter is authoritarian, artificial and violent, alien and hostile to the natural development of the interests and the instincts of the people, to the same degree must the organization of the international be free, natural, and in every respect in accord with those interests and instincts. But what is the natural organization of the masses? It is one based on the different occupations of their actual daily life, on their various kinds of work, organization according to their occupations, trade organizations. When all industries, including the various branches of agriculture, are represented in the international, its organization, the organization of the toiling masses of the people, will be finished. And at another occasion, all this practical and vital study of social science by the workers themselves in their trade sections and their chambers of labor will, and already has engendered in them the unanimous, well-considered, theoretically, and practically demonstrable conviction that the serious, final complete liberation of the workers is possible only on one condition, that of the appropriation of capital, that is, of raw materials, and all the tools of labor, including land, by the whole body of the workers. The organization of the trade sections, their federation in the international, and their representation by the labor chambers, not only create a great academy, in which the workers of the international, combining theory and practice, can and must study economic science, they also bear in themselves the living germs of the new social order, which is to replace the bourgeois world. They are creating not only the ideas, but also the facts of the future itself. After the decline of the International and the Franco-German War, by which the focal point of the socialist labor movement was transferred to Germany, whose workers had neither revolutionary traditions nor that rich experience possessed by the socialists in the Western countries, those ideas were gradually forgotten. After the defeat of the Paris Commune and the revolutionary upheavals in Spain and Italy, the sections of the International in these countries were compelled for many years to carry on only an underground existence. Only with the awakening of revolutionary syndicalism in France were the ideas of the First International rescued from oblivion and inspired once more larger sections of the labor movement,